Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 1 of the Shut In webinar series. Whether you're stuck at home because you chose to be or because work is closed and other various and sundry things, we are going to try to teach people some stuff every weekday for the foreseeable future. And this is our first lesson, and most of the other lessons will include a co-host who is going to teach us about their stuff. For episode 1, I'm going to teach you some of my stuff, and I am lucky enough to have my good friend Elizabeth Neubauer here with me. I got that right, didn't I?
You got it right.
Here with me to give me a hard time and talk, give some feedback on what I'm going to teach you today. So I hope you're going to enjoy this recording, and I want to hear from you if you do. And of course, I definitely want to hear from you if you didn't enjoy this recording and get something out of it. All right, so today's topic, and let me go to screen share real quick because I want to share some numbers with you that I looked up on the Google. This is a Word document I put together based on speaking to get paid, which is our topic for today, speak to get paid. So these are conservative numbers, but if you think about how many meetings are held every year that do not and will not pay their speaker, that's what this is all about. There's over 33,000 Rotary clubs on the planet. So let's assume 20,000 of them are in the USA. They meet almost every week of the year, but we'll say that they're looking for outside speakers only 40 weeks. That's 800,000 speaking opportunities in 1 year in America. There are 4,000 chambers of commerce in the US with at least one full-time staff person, and there's double that number, if not more, that have volunteers that run it. Just the 4,000 chambers, if each of them has one speaker a month, and not even every month of the year, that's 40,000 speaking opportunities a year. And of course, if you're involved in a chamber, you know they have more than one speaker a month. There are more than 92,000 trade and professional associations in the US. So let's assume that half of them have a monthly lunch. Now, of course, that's not even talking about how many chapters each association has, because most of them have chapters in multiple cities. So conservatively, that's another 460,000 needs for speakers. Then I looked at networking groups, and the easiest way I found to track that was with BNI, Business Networking International, which does not have speakers, but there are at least 10 groups in every major city for every BNI. That's in my experience. So that's 37,000 networking groups in the country. And if they just have a speaker every month for 10 months out of the year, that's another 370,000 places that are looking for a speaker every year. So my conservative total is 1,670,000 speaking opportunities every year that will never pay their speakers. And what I'm going to teach you about is how to get in front of those groups, because a lot of people are speaking to sell their book and to get customers and to get leads, as opposed to speaking to get a fee. And that's why we differentiate public speakers from what we call business speakers. Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm just kind of fascinated by all of this. This is all, you do this all the time. I'm just kind of sitting here going, wow, that's a lot of unpaid speaking happening there.
Exactly. And that's why I looked it up, because I had a lot of people saying, well, there's plenty of opportunities to get paid. Yes, there are, but there are lots more to get paid after the talk as opposed to before the talk.
Okay.
So, and the premise is that a public speaker whose job title is public speaker wants to get paid to speak. And that's just great. That's fine. But the people that I work with are what we call business speakers. Their job title is not going to be speaker. They're not interested in that. They're coaches, they're consultants, they're attorneys, they're doctors, they're landscapers, they're architects, they're engineers, and their expertise gets them in front of the room so they can talk to people and get clients from speaking. And
Okay.
that's the speak to get paid model that I
It's
teach.
kind of like
the
a band.
speaker
It's
co-op
like a
teachers.
band. It's like a band playing for free, but then selling 10,000
T-shirts,
T-shirts, or but they sell,
MP3s.
they sell 30,000 in merchandise right after the show.
Exactly. That's a good analogy. Or would that be a metaphor? Uh,
I think I'm going to go with it. It's an analogy.
there you go.
A
So
metaphor usually includes a duck.
there you go. Or yeah, you're right, because it walks like one, right?
Okay, so what is this?
I knew having you here would be beneficial.
I'm so sorry. I'll be quiet now.
No, I don't want you to be. This is my checklist for speaking success.
Okay.
And can you still see it enough here?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great.
I
So
found a button that makes you smaller,
and
so
page
what's on your
bigger.
screen is larger.
Oop, there we go. All
Perfect.
right.
That's good.
Yeah. So let's take a 30 seconds and let me talk to you about why I'm the guy when it comes to talking about this subject. Why am I qualified to be leading this conversation? And that is that, there is stop share.
Yes.
I started speaking in 2004, and my business at the time was an advertising agency. And I discovered an organization called CEO Space. And they were teaching the 30-second elevator pitch every week at lunch on Friday. And I joined the group, got involved, and I started helping at those meetings. And then somebody said, "Hey, Jeff, will you come and do this same lesson at our meeting?" And I said, "Sure," because I could help promote the organization of CEO Space, and I could promote my business, which at the time was an advertising agency. And business networking and the elevator pitch is the most basic form of advertising. So it all tied together. And I started getting asked to speak every month or two, and then a couple of times a month. And in 2006, we started a lunch called Speaker Co-op for people like me who were speaking to get customers, so we could share referrals and leads and best practices. And a few years later, I turned Speaker Co-op into my business, which is what it is now. But in the interim, in 2007, I set a goal to speak once a week. So I spoke 50 times in 2007. Then I did the same thing for the next year, but I set a goal to speak twice a week, which I did in 2008 and again in 2009. So over a 3-year period, I spoke 250 times. I got paid up front about 5 times, but I made revenue about 90% of the time. And I figured a bunch of things out. And then in 2010, closed the ad agency, started Speaker Co-op as a business and a membership website and a bunch of other training and all kinds of things. And so now I teach my proven system of how to turn a 20-minute talk into leads and customers. So that's what this comes from, and this is sort of the introduction to that content. And that's where we get the Speak to Get Paid worksheet. So what you want to make sure you have is you want to know before you start speaking why it is you're speaking. Are you speaking to get clients? Sometimes people are speaking for exposure and to get leads, with clients being the result of that. But I'm an advocate of actually selling in the room, not in a pitchy way, not in an abusive way, not in an obnoxious way, but coming in, giving value, and then at the end of your talk, making an offer. So I advocate that you actually ask for people to buy something from you in the room. Now if you're an accountant, an attorney, you're not going to sign up people to become hourly customers in the room. But what you are going to do is you're going to offer them a book or an MP3 for $20. You're going to offer them a webinar or a class. And then you're going to offer a way for them to start engaging with you, an assessment, a lunch and learn, some kind of checkup of what you do for their business. And then that will give you more customers and a pipeline to get more people into your business funnel. So you have to have your strategy, of course, and then you have to have content that's worth delivering. So for example, when I was teaching the 30-second elevator pitch, that was something people needed. And 15, 16 years later, I'm still teaching it because people still need it. They need to have a 30-second commercial that works and gets them results. But that doesn't mean you turn your business proposition into your content. In other words, you can't do a talk if you're a remodeler about how to be a great remodeler, or how to do a great construction project, because nobody's going to book you for that because it's obviously a sales pitch. On the other hand, let's say you're a construction or remodeler person, you could do a talk about green construction or ecological office places, or even organizing. You could do something about organizing your office so that for productivity.
Okay.
You could do that, or you could even do something. Almost everybody could do something about customer service, but you want to have whatever your value proposition is, your talk, it needs to be content that can tie back to your business in some way. So the idea of a construction person doing content about organization and how to keep things streamlined and more productive is a way to get your speech booked. And, oh, by the way, on the back of your worksheet about having an organized office is an ad for your construction remodeling services. Does that make sense?
It does.
So just again, we're treating all of this stuff at a high level right now, but so you want, once you figure out what your topic is, you want it to be creatively presented. You want to have a pithy, P-I-T-H-Y, for those of you listening, pithy title topic, something to attract people. The 5 ways an organized office makes your employees more productive, or the 5 keys to not tripping over your old files, or all kind of whatever works for that business. Again, we just want to be creative. The topic is not organizing your office, because that's not going to get you to the front of the line when people are booking speakers. The next thing you want to make sure you have is a letter of agreement. And we have a sample letter of agreement at speakercoop.com that you can download. And I'm not an attorney, I know some, but you can download that at our
I am.
I know you are.
Oh dear.
Now, if you want somebody to review that contract, you can hire Ms. It says Reader still on the screen, but you can hire Elizabeth, and she will review that contract and make it legal for the state of Texas for you, and probably 1 or 2 other states, right?
Exactly.
And the sample letter of agreements on our free education page at speakercoop.com. And you can use that and do what you will with it. But what it shows is a couple of things. First, it shows that you're a professional. And second, it shows that your speech still has a monetary value that you're willing to waive to speak to get paid. It's not a free speech. That's the Zig Ziglar quote that I live by, is there is no such thing as a free speech.
A twist on the First Amendment.
There you go. The web presence is, if you already have a business website, you don't need to create a whole new website to start speaking, but you do want to put a tab that says book Sam to speak, or whatever the case may be. You want, so that people know that you're available to come educate them. And of course, the clever topic title will get more attention for your business without you even walking onto a stage. Next is a $20 thing. That's I talked about briefly earlier. You want to have something that people can buy when you're speaking. And the main reason is when you're doing a good job and educating people and giving them value, they want more of you. And the easiest way to give them more of you right now is to sell them something that is you. That's a book, that's a CD. Well, we don't do CDs anymore so much. An MP3, or some people are selling a thumb drive with the MP3 on it, right now, I just email the MP3s and ebooks to people when they purchase, but you can come up with creative ways to deliver your $20 thing. But you want to have something that's right there at a base price that's easy for somebody to buy, and now they're part of your community. So they are a customer. You want to also create, as I mentioned earlier, a workshop or a webinar, something that's $100, $200, something in that price range. And for a lot of you who are just working by the hour, who only get paid when you're engaging with a client right there and doing the work for them, this can be an extra revenue stream. This can be a way to make money while you sleep or money while you're on vacation. You create these education programs, you make $500, $1,000, $2,000 in a month just from people taking your class. That's nothing to sneeze at, as they say. Then you want to create some marketing materials that show you as a business speaker, and in the industry that's called a one sheet, and it's usually two sides of a piece of paper. And nowadays, people rarely even print them. It's a PDF that they email to their prospects and their clients for them to use that material to promote the talk. You also want to create marketing materials on each of your topics and the things you're selling, your products and services, maybe a general flyer about your whole business. Then during your talk, you've got handouts, and the speaker kit is your handouts, is a worksheet, it's an order form, which we'll also talk about down the way. But it's a way to roll into the room with all of your stuff in one box, easily contained, kept in the trunk of your car, because you never know when somebody will say, hey, our speaker didn't show up. Do you want to speak today? Yeah, you bet. Always ready. And then you've got all those things with you. Inside the speaker kit are signs, like just little 8.5 by 11 loose side signs that you can display your latest information, the latest things you're selling. A lot of us will put a speaker one sheet on the table as well. If you're going to get a table to show off your stuff, that's one of the things you ask for in the letter of agreement, is the table to show off your stuff. You're going to have an introduction that somebody's going to read before you speak, and it's different from your biography. An introduction and a bio have two different purposes. The bio is designed for them to print in the marketing materials for the meeting, to give people a reason to come see you. The introduction is for those people who are already in the room, to set the stage for them to become your customers or leads for you, but some way that they're going to be interested in you and your content and shop and buy, which your bio doesn't cover. Then you're going to have like a useful handout, which it's usually a worksheet about your topic. So if you're doing the 5 ways an organized office makes employees productive, you're going to have a worksheet with all 5 ways on the worksheet. And then you're going to have an enrollment form, which is what we call our order form. And that's where you list your $20 thing and your workshop and that foot in the door entry into your business that you can take money for right there in the room after your talk. So you want to have a follow-up strategy besides having an app on your phone and ready to swipe debit and credit cards right there with you to take that money in the room, because I don't know how many of you have experienced retail sales, but when somebody says, I'll be back later, that usually means see ya, goodbye. So if somebody wants to buy your stuff later, you can definitely follow up with them, but the better policy, the better strategy and tactic is to take some money from them while they're in the room with you, and then follow up and upgrade them as a customer, because it's a lot easier to turn a customer into a more involved customer than it is to turn a prospect into a customer. We got an audience. Thank you guys. We appreciate the input. The follow-up strategy is how you use business cards, because you're going to collect business cards and with email addresses, which that's also in the letter of agreement, that in exchange for waiving your fee and spending your time with this group and giving them value, you're going to collect the business cards of everybody in the room so you can follow up. And newsletter. That's a touch program is a newsletter and other things like that. One of the things I do is if somebody is in an office or in a profession that I know I can provide other trainers for, I'm going to reach out to them by phone or email and ask them to introduce me to their office manager or their managing partner or whoever is a decision maker in their business. And most people are willing to introduce you to their decision maker. If they're not, then your talk wasn't as good as it might have been. So that is the proven checklist for speaking success. I'm glad to share this with you by email. If you're watching this recording, reach out to me at jeff@speakercoop.com. That's JEFF at speakercoop.com. That's, of course, where you may have already found this recording, but if you didn't, speakercoop.com is the resource for more stuff like this on speaking and education from lots of business speakers on their expertise. So I turned on the fire hose there, Elizabeth, and just sent all that information out there. Did I prompt some questions or some things you wanted to ask about?
No, this is actually really it's beautifully organized and it's great information for me. I think that samples, with this platform, you have such a wonderful ability to like show us your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Checklist is wonderful. I would think that even seeing some samples,
okay,
of things like, if you were ever able to go a little bit further in depth, and I'm sure that a lot of your usual clients already know this, but kind of show the difference. I know that with my clients, I like to show them the difference between a really good written proposal versus a really good written to be read intro. Does that make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
I think that you could really do a couple of examples, maybe some pictures of, merchandise and samples of things, I think would be a lot of fun to have. This is a great intro to all of it. It's a great intro to the Jeff Klein patented checklist, because God, you really do know what you're doing. I think that maybe bringing it alive, because I think in multimedia all the time,
mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here going, ooh, a picture of this, a slide of that, would be, delightful to supplement this wonderful.
That's great. And actually, that's a great segue, because there is a video of my 9 laws class broken up into chapters.
Oh, that's great. And we didn't plan this, did we?
Nope, absolutely not. The 9 laws to business speaking success is available at needtoknowtraining.com. Needtoknowtraining.com. The number TO, not the word TO, not the number 2. Needtoknowtraining.com. You'll find the 9 laws to business speaking success class, and you'll find my signature program called Pathway to Profits, which is the entire series of lessons on how to speak to get paid in several hours of content broken up into chapters with a workbook and examples of all the paperwork and all that good stuff, is also available at needtoknowtraining.com.
Oh, perfect.
So
there's
more,
help.
and absolutely. And because we're doing this shut-in webinar series, we have the opportunity to do Speak to Get Paid Part 2 and show off some of the paperwork and show off some of the other things like the speaker kit and things like that.
That's delightful.
So you'll always find links at speakercoop.com to the Need to Know training website with all kinds of classes that you can sign up for and then download. And if you don't have time to watch a video, you can listen in your car, because you can download it and it belongs to you. So there you go. So speakercoop.com, needtoknowtraining.com. I'll let my guest plug her website.
StudioEAustin.com. We do training for speakers, performers, and directors. And then StudioEProductions.com which also includes a lot of classes and things on how to make your online presence a little bit snappier. And we actually do direct to camera training for speakers who want to have a visually attractive video blog or presentation, how to make it look as sparkly as you are. So Studio E Austin and Studio E Productions.com.
Excellent. And thank you for watching episode 1 of the Shut-In webinar series. There's going to be lots of content coming your way because you're stuck at home and we want to teach you something.